What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And here today, I'm going to be going over several clips, starting out with Lil Durk, the Grammy Award-winning rapper, who was recently arrested for murder for hire. And a lot of these cases that are happening around America of these rappers actually living out their lyrics, they're starting to get hit with RICO charges. They're starting to do gang sweeps. They're starting to really crack down on these guys like they're the mob. Why is that? Because now, not only are these guys out here murdering each other, now they have the money and the finances to murder anybody they want at this point. Not that they're going to do that, but once you have a small empire and you start to feel like you can get away with anything, the feds are going to crack down on you, especially as young black men. There's been a culture within our community of Negroes falling in love with this snitch narrative. This narrative of you shouldn't tell. Now, I do understand if two people commit a crime together, both them people should go down together. You would hope so, but that's not reality. And reality is when somebody's facing 50 years, they have a chance to get back to their family. They're going to take that reality. And you have a lot of people who are out on the streets who talk a good game. I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't tell on that. And those people have never, ever in their life faced 50 years. You don't even know what that feels like. You've never sat in front of the judge and faced that. Everybody's not a Keno. You know, when I was out doing my thing in my younger years, being foolish, dumb, stupid, and ridiculous, at least I did it with blood family members, people who was actually my blood relatives. And even at that, it was stupid as hell. But most people are not going to stay solid. What people don't realize when you come to this snitch narrative is that you should be worried about right and wrong. There's no way in Sam Hill you should be worried about snitching because everything you do comes back to you. That's a damn shame that you have to preach that to grown-ass men at this point. You have men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and still talk about snitching as if this glorified thing that people are like. Snitching is as American as apple pie. We know this because everybody in the mob, not everybody, but when the mob was broken up, every time there was a big mob case, there was another mobster who was telling. That's part of the game. You can't get in the game and expect somebody not to tell. It's ridiculous. And it really annoys me and irks me that grown black men really get caught up in that when they should know damn well that it's all about right and wrong and doing what you're supposed to be doing. I do understand when you're young, but when you know better, you have to do better. And not just that, knowing better and doing better. As you get older, you have to actually adjust your mindset with some of this goofy ass shit. You have niggas like Free Durk and free this nigga. No, I want to free political people who's actually standing up for fighting for the Negro. Not niggas out here doing foolishness and silliness. This shit has spread. This drill music and all this drill rapping and living out your lyrics has spread like a virus. It's a damn shame when you miss the days of studio gangsters. Lil Durk has built an empire. He's a Grammy Award winner. And look at him now. He's facing life. Yes, he will have a fantastic lawyer. And yes, they will have to prove all this shit in court. But let me tell you this. This is a new age. Everything is under surveillance. You can't erase nothing no more. Once you put that shit in motion, you type it on anything, it goes to the cloud now. You can't just get rid of whatever piece of equipment you use it on, the phone, the computer, the laptop, the tablet. You can't just throw that in the trash and it all goes away. Ever since 9/11 and they introduced the Patriot Act, all that shit is over with. Everything is under surveillance now. Everything is being watched. And these dumb niggas was out here doing the shit with company credit cards. And I'm pretty sure Durk didn't approve that because he knows that doesn't make no sense. But sometimes the people you're dealing with, they not as smart as you. Some of these rappers be really smart. I'm talking about like educationally, but obviously this was dumb as hell. But I'm just saying in the context of if this is what you was trying to do, thinking you was going to get away with it, I would almost guarantee he didn't have these people trying to use no credit cards from the company. That's ridiculous. And this shit goes deeper and deeper with gang members in Los Angeles. I don't know if you guys know who Brick Baby is out of Los Angeles. I think he's from the Rolling 60 Crips, but he's on No Jumper, the YouTube show No Jumper. And months ago, I think it was like almost a year ago, he yelled out they can't say nothing about sliding for Durk no more. And come to find out, I mean not Durk, for Von, you can't slide for Von. You can't say they ain't sliding for Von no more. Come to find out, he got a federal case that was pending against him on as a felon having an AK-47. We know that's, I think that's a minimum of 5, maybe 10. I don't know what the law, sometimes the laws change over time, but it's a mandatory minimum time limit on that shit. Like, there's no way out of that shit federally unless you cooperate. That's how we knew T.I. was cooperating. Ain't no way you got 11 assault rifles and automatic weapons and you a 6-time felon and then you get a year in prison. That's impossible. So he has an open case of 15 months. And now all of a sudden he ain't went to court yet. So everybody's scratching their head. And not only that, he also has this guy right here, the OTF Jam, who was wearing a wire. He was somebody who was part of his crew who had did 12 years and got out and talked about how solid he was, this, that, and the third. And all of a sudden, he's wearing a wire around him. But let's take a look at some of these clips, y'all.
Winning rapper Lil Durk on murder for hire charges. Now, he's being held without bond in a South Florida jail, and ABC's Ike Ajachi is here now with the latest on this one. Good morning, Ike.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. Rapper Lil Durk appeared in federal court Friday afternoon, charged with allegedly masterminding a cross-country murder for hire plot that can land him decades in prison. This morning, rapper Lil Durk facing murder for hire charges. The 32-year-old is being held without bond after he was arrested by U.S. Marshals Thursday in Florida.
Personal privacy will not be commented on.
The Chicago-based artist, born Dirk Banks, is known for his Grammy-winning song, All My Life.
And let me say this, that song right there is probably my favorite Lil Durk song that he ever made. I never was a huge Lil Durk fan. I'm not a huge fan of people who's basically one-trick ponies. But obviously Durk has some talent. He wasn't just a one-trick pony, but he just, like, he fell into the trap of just using one trick of talking about murder music, where he just rapped murder music all the time and killing and drilling and all that shit. So obviously when he made this, I said, okay, Durk got some, but at this point I knew something wasn't right because the man was all of a sudden changing his tune. But, you know, like most people, we all assume maybe he's just growing up. Maybe he's just maturing and he's doing better and doing better. But come to find out, he knew the feds was on his ass. So this was a whole image change by his team, his publicists, and all of those people who are around him. They have a team of people around him who try to change your image. It ain't always for murder for hire, but goddamn, if you was gonna ever change your image, it would be something like this. But once the feds is on you, it's pretty much over. They just gathering evidence.
Collaborations with Drake. And country artist Morgan Wallen. The arrest comes on the heels of a federal indictment against 5 alleged co-conspirators of Durk's, also arrested Thursday in Chicago. They're accused of carrying out a 20...
And let me say this. All 5 of those people who were arrested they were cooperating immediately. Because let me tell you what the feds do when they pick you up. They start showing you all the evidence, all the wiretaps, all the phones, emails, text messages, all that shit. They might even show you something where Durk did something with your old lady. I texted your old lady. Or your old lady was trying to holler at him. There's some real slow down, dirty, scandalous shit going on between all these different artists and all these different people that they're dealing with. When you got 50 people as your entourage, all the people ain't your goddamn friend. You can't have 50 friends. That's impossible. So everybody's going to cooperate against Durk. There's no doubt about it, because guess what? You're facing life. All that snitch shit is a facade. Niggas is telling. I can't tell you what I'd do if I was facing 50 years. Probably tell, I don't know. Never faced it. And neither have you. Most of you niggas ain't never faced that. So it's easy to sit back and say, I wouldn't tell, I'll stay solid. Never face 50. Never face life. Possibility of a death penalty. You ain't never facing none of that shit. So you don't know if you keep quiet. So basically, keep quiet.
To hit targeting rapper Quando Rondo in Los Angeles, which left Rondo's 24-year-old cousin dead.
The suspects,
And yeah, that was the young rapper Quando Rondo who was whose main man Lil Tim shot King Von in Atlanta. Now, Quando Rondo and Lil Tim, I think they're from Savannah, Georgia. Obviously, King Von is from Chicago, and you know everybody's in Atlanta at this point. Somehow, a fight broke out, and King Von was punching on the man, and the man pulled out the strap. And you know, down south, you got to stand your ground law. You beating up somebody, man, they can smoke your ass. Until Lil Tim got off of that, he got off on that case too. He didn't get charged with that. So you know, it is what it is. But the internet was really on Durk's ass. Lil Durk talking about why y'all talk all about all this sliding and killing. Y'all ain't slid for Durk. I mean, you ain't slid for Von one time. So once the sliding start, and then somebody wind up dead, now here comes the piper. Y'all know who the piper is? The piper is somebody you got to pay. Y'all got to pay the piper. Nobody wants to pay the piper. Everybody want to laugh with the piper. They want to dance with the piper. They want to smoke with the piper. But when it's time to pay the piper, nobody wants to pay the piper. So Lil Durk and all his crew have to pay the piper now.
from the alley, got out of the car, and started shooting at those victims.
Included in the indictment are surveillance images of the shooting that officials say Durk ordered and financed, allegedly in retaliation for a 2020 shooting in Atlanta that resulted in the death of his friend, fellow rapper King Von. According to the complaint, Durk was arrested on his way to the airport where he was allegedly scheduled to be a passenger on a private jet out of the country. Durk's representatives haven't commented.
So, Lil Durk thought he was supposed to escape out the country like he's some goddamn white man who's fucking and gave away the country secrets. Nigga, are you crazy? Boy, you not escaping out of the city. And you can see, I'm not going to go too deep in this, but his music cover, this Luciferian-ass music cover he got, trying to pay adherence to the moon goddess. And look, all of these people who's on the high level in the music industry, I would say 99% of them are Luciferians, almost all of them. And they all worship the same deities. They all worship the moon goddess. As you can see, he's looking up at the moon. If you look at, there's so many videos, there's so many photographs of these people paying adherence to the moon and the moon goddess and the mother, which the moon goddess, which ain't nothing but the mother goddess. And we know Monday is named after the moon, which is Moon Day. That's why it's called Monday. But as you can see, these people pay adherence to this shit. But now he has to pay the ultimate piper because people are done playing with you niggas.
Latest post on Instagram shortly before his arrest promoting the release date for his upcoming album next month.
Now, Durk will be transferred to California where he'll be held in pretrial detention. His arraignment is expected to occur in Los Angeles federal court in the coming weeks. Now, if convicted, Banks and the 5 defendants charged in the separate indictment would each face a statutory maximum sentence of life in federal prison. So far, no one has entered a plea.
All right, I can judge you. Thank you.
Well, everybody is scrambling to try to somehow maneuver their way where they're not receiving life. You rather do 15, 20 years than life. Because when it's a federal crime, guess what you're going to do when it's life? You're going to do that shit to the day you die. Let's take a look at another clip.
Lil Durk allegedly targeted a rival rapper in a murder-for-hire scheme in Los Angeles. He has been arrested.
As Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz found out, federal officials say it was a family member of the intended target who ended up being killed by hitmen.
He's 32, a successful rapper, and a Grammy Award winner. Federal authorities say Lil Durk is also behind an alleged murder-for-hire plot.
It is a very violent crime. You're talking about someone losing their life and perhaps another individual was the target.
Chicago rapper Durk Banks was arrested near Miami International Airport Thursday night.
Anything you want to say about your son?
His family seen leaving his first court appearance today. A federal complaint says Banks put a bounty on a rival rapper in response to the killing of a close friend in 2020. Ref Leach.
And as you can see, that's the little rapper Quando Rondo. Quando Rondo, like I said, is from Savannah, Georgia. He's a rolling 60 Crip out of Savannah, Georgia, which is ridiculous. That's one thing in the South that we all have to learn. The South, East Coast, anything outside of Los Angeles, California. I don't give a fuck if we go to Northern California. They don't look at y'all as real Crips and Bloods. That's a fact. Like if you a blood from Dallas and you say Pyru and this, they don't respect none of that shit. Yeah, they'll let you come around and use you, extort you. They won't even call it extort. They just call it checking in and all that wacky ass shit. But when you're a Rolling 60 Crip from Savannah, Georgia, they look at you as a clown. They look at you as somebody that they can take advantage of. They look at you as somebody who don't know what the fuck he's even talking about. If you're a blood from Dallas and you go to Los Angeles, yeah, they'll let you hang around and, fuck her, but they don't think you niggas is real bloods. That's a fact. I know this for a fact as a person who's lived in California. They don't respect. I know a lot of Los Angeles people, a lot of Los Angeles niggas. I work with Los Angeles people right now. They'll all tell you the same thing. They're like, hell no, we don't look at none of them niggas like they real bloods or real Crips. So it's a waste of your time even thinking that you that.
Years later, this deadly shooting unfolded at a gas station near the Beverly Center in August of 2022. Investigators named several defendants and alleged co-conspirators.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta go back to this. I don't want to get off topic, but let me go back to this shit. Let me go back to this.
Deadly shooting unfolded at a gas station near the Beverly Center in August of 2022. Investigators named several defendants and
This is why I moved out of California right here. Look at those goddamn gas prices. California, top to bottom, left to right, is the most beautiful state in all of America. I'll put California's beauty up against any state in America. But look at these goddamn gas prices. Whether it be the gas, electricity, the water bill, the goddamn rent, the mortgage, whatever it is, look at these. That's almost $7 a goddamn gallon. The only place you going is to get some money or go home. Look at that shit. That's ridiculous. I didn't mean to get off topic, but California, this is why so many people leave in the goddamn California. That's absurd.
alleged co-conspirators they say stalked and attempted to murder the rival rapper, and instead ended up killing a relative who was with the target at the time. The indictment says this is a photo of the three individuals who fired gunshots at the busy intersection.
What they have shared so far is a tremendous amount of information, especially as it comes to the planning involved in this alleged hit for hire. Weapons were supplied, ski masks were supplied. Those weapons were modified to make at least one of them an automatic weapon.
Authorities say Banks flew into Los Angeles the day before the killing by private plane. They also allege the purchase of flights from Chicago to SoCal and a hotel reservation for the alleged co-conspirators was from accounts linked to Banks and his music collective, OTF.
That's crazy.
That around that time, iCloud records show that a phone number associated with Banks texted an alleged
What I just tell y'all, it's an iCloud records. Everything goes to the cloud. Nothing is erased anymore. You can't trash it. You can't do none of that shit. You can't throw the phone away. All of it is on the cloud. Everything you watch on Pornhub is on the cloud. All the porn you watch on Twitter, everything you into is on the cloud. They know everything about all of us. So when shit hits the fan, they can go pull up all of that. It said, look what this said, Durk said, don't book no flights under no names involved with me. What did they do? These dumb niggas did the exact opposite. Ridiculous. It's on so many levels. They got so much money. They could have had that shit booked under all these different people names in different areas, different females here, there, paid random people. They could have did all type of shit. They didn't do none of that.
Conspirator, quote, don't book no flights under no names involved with me. According to the indictment, Banks had made clear in, quote, coded language that he'd pay a bounty for the murder. Authorities arrested 5 defendants in Chicago Thursday morning and say the FBI...
Well, they said he used coded language to plot the murder. That's where his lawyer is going to fight the hardest at. So when this case starts, this is why I'm always ahead of the curve. This is why you watch Sports Life and Politics TV. YouTube's #1 couch detective. Is because that's going to be the biggest fighting contention with this whole thing is, hey, I never told nobody to do that. That whatever the coded language is, they're going to try to use that. That's going to be his only fighting saving grace. But his problem is he's going to have 5 guys testifying that it was all him. It was all his idea. We did it. We willing to face some time, but we damn sure don't want no life. And Dirk most definitely told us to do this shit.
Yeah, I learned Banks was booked on 3 international flights before his arrest. If convicted, Banks and the other defendants face a maximum sentence of
Or he fucked up another place too, because now they said he booked 3 different flights, going 3 different places. Now he was trying to evade the law, so the bail is out of the question. Yeah, you're not getting out. That's out. You're a flight. They call it a flight risk.
life in federal prison.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more.
Yeah, but if you gang banging or anything outside of California, even in Northern California, they listen to me. They do have a little more respect for Northern California Crips and Bloods. Maybe it's like from Sacramento and shit, because it's in California, but they do not respect anything outside of California, especially outside of Los Angeles, then California. But anything outside of that shit, yeah, they don't respect that at all, y'all. Yeah, so that's like Quando Rondo got caught up with the Roller 60 Crips, and they saying that what's this dude's name? I keep forget his goddamn name. And I can't think his name. The one that's Rolling 60 Crip, Brick Baby. I'm sorry, Brick Baby. Brick Baby was the one who set him up. They said they was giving up his location. He wrote another Rolling 60 Crip. So you have to be extremely careful. Los Angeles niggas is notorious for setting up plays, and a lot of times it be females. A lot of gang member female, pretty motherfuckers. You would never think this lady was connected to gangs, and that lady be connected to all type of either Crips or Bloods or both sometime, and have your ass set up. And they said they was dropping the location because they called this nigga in the Beverly Center. They called him in one of the most nicest parts of LA. It's the equivalent of doing that shit in what is it, Highland Park or some shit, or doing that shit in the nicest neighborhood in Dallas, or going somewhere in San Francisco and doing that shit close to Napa. Oh man, look, you don't want to be in the nicest neighborhood killing people. So you're gonna get caught. There's cameras everywhere, so they were eventually gonna get caught. But it did help them that they had some snitches. Take a look at this next clip. Chicago rapper Lil Durk accused in deadly FBG duck shoot. Now they're going retroactive on his funky ass and reaching back. Did he have something to do with this? Highly likely. Not guaranteed. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm saying if you did this, the people going to say it's highly likely you did that. Let's take a look at the clip.
It's been 4 years since Chicago rapper FBG Duck was killed, and his mother's pain is still raw.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about him and the life that was taken from him.
FBG Duck, whose real name was Carlton Weekly, was gunned down on the Gold Coast by a group of masked men as he waited to enter the Dolce & Gabbana store August of 2020. His girlfriend, Cache Williams, and another man also wounded in the attack. They joined Weekly's mother in filing a lawsuit Wednesday, alleging rap superstar Lil Durk had a hand in the gang-related killing, wanting to take out Weekly. Their years-long rivalry playing out in a series of violent drill rap songs.
Our complaint law lays out.
And when you talking about all this killing and people actually dying, hey, FBG Duck was, he was, it was time they went duck hunting. Just like with King Von, just like with all these other Chicago rappers and all these other rappers who indulge in this shit. I have empathy for the families, who lose a loved one, but for the actual people, my empathy is not that high because I understand the shit that you do and you got to realize what come with it. So, it is what it is. Unfortunate.
A $100,000 bounty was placed on the life of FBG Duck to have him killed.
The lawsuit names a wide-ranging list of defendants, including Lil Durk, his record label, Only the Family, or OTF, and other larger labels that partnered with OTF, like Sony and UMG Interscope. Attorney Roosevelt Allen saying the larger labels welcome artists engaging in criminal activity, putting profit over human life.
They want authenticity, which has bred these type of individuals getting in the music business, carrying out their activities, and the record label companies are fueling it, financing it.
Well, the only way the record companies will stop that shit is if it start costing them money. Like, say these people start filing lawsuits and they start losing the lawsuits, then you would have every reason. But I think drill music and all this type of music it was a fad, and I think that it's dying, obviously. There's no way you can keep up this music because shit, you can't keep the artists alive long enough to keep up the music. So, but like I said, for the record companies, it's a bottom line. The bottom line is money. If they can keep making money, they will. If they won't, if they can't, then, if it start costing them money or they're not making any money, yeah, they'll turn to something else. There's no doubt about that.
Developing brands for them.
Earlier this year, 6 purported gang members were convicted of carrying out Weekley's murder. Allen saying with this lawsuit, he hopes others who knowingly promoted violence will be held accountable.
That's where it crosses the line, when you take it from the music and you take it to the public in the streets and you kill someone.
We contacted representatives for Lil Durk, Sony, and UMG Interscope Records, but have not received a response.
Watch breaking news.
It's an unfortunate situation. And like I said before, it's a learning lesson for a lot of young black males to understand that this shit is no future in it. When I was growing up, all they told you, the only thing coming with all this gangster shit is death and jail. And for Lil Durk, somebody who's just built a real empire, I mean, like I said, he won a Grammy. He's real hot in the streets. I mean, it comes to a point to where you can't live them lyrics no more. You got too big. You big. He literally got bigger than the program. The program, like the program of Chicago, like Chief Keef. Chief Keef left Chicago, never went back to that goofball ass shit. He got bigger than that shit. It's like it's over. I can't be gangster enough. I had to kill too many people to try to keep. I can't keep up with King Von. This nigga's a serial killer. How am I gonna keep up with that? After I done made all this money, I can't do that shit no more. It's over. Let me go to another clip. Stockton police led Operation Targeting Gangs. The operation was called, if I'm not mistaken, it was Operation, the fuck was it? I can't think of that. It was like Operation Goon or some shit. But let's take a look at this clip. And this is another point of, when you get to a certain age, some of this shit you just gotta let go. I understand sometimes when you don't know better, you younger. You got some of these people in this clip, let me say this, I know some of these people. I'm not gonna point out who I know and who's who. But some of these people I know and some of these people I'm close to. And I just find it just sad that some of these ways and some of this shit hadn't been let go. Very tragic. And in a lot of these small cities, what I told you before, earlier in the video, that drill music was a trickle-down effect to all of these other small cities. So you got a city like Stockton, California, who has their biggest rapper, I think, is EBK J-Bo. And from the south side of Stockton, a little area called Nightingale. And they have that killing music, and it's all about killing and who they killed and who they sliding on and who's next. And in this clip, you're going to get to see all of these people who are arrested and swept up in this. These cities and these places are getting tired of it. All of a sudden, the reward is not as great as it was. It used to be, we get to lock up all these people, we can put them in these prisons, we can make a bunch of money. Now it's getting to the point to where they're starting to lose money on it. It's too many. They don't want all of these different people. They want to clean up the streets. They don't want to have to keep arresting all these different people. They want to give the hardened criminals as much time as they can so it could deter other people from doing it. Let's take a look at this clip.
Meanwhile, an operation targeting gangs and violence in Stockton led to more than 70 arrests and dozens of guns being taken off the streets.
Stockton police just made the announcement today. ABC 10's Gabriel Forrest was there and has the details now.
The press conference took place here at the Stockton Police Department's administration building, and despite law enforcement officials opening themselves up to questions, many questions were left on the table.
If violence is brought to our neighborhoods, there will be accountability.
San Joaquin County law enforcement leaders gathered Thursday to hear and see the results of what Stockton's police chief calls
That's what it was. It was Operation Boogeyman. But as you can see, there's so many guns on the table.
There will be
it's just,
San Joaquin County.
And let me tell you that these ain't no guns that's just collecting dust. They out there in Stockton really getting it in. Stockton is probably the most dangerous city in California. Like, it's only a population of 300,000, but it has become one of the most dangerous cities in America, but the most dangerous city in California. I'm talking about even more dangerous than Los Angeles. Like that's how deadly the little city got. It is not very big at all. I stayed in Stockton off and on my whole life. Not a very big city. But as you can see, the gang violence and the gun violence is so bad that they're calling in help out from outside. U.S. Marshals, FBI, different task force, and all type of shit. They serious now.
Leaders gathered Thursday to hear and see the results of what Stockton's police chief calls Operation Boogeyman.
It specifically targeted some of our most violent street gangs, which were responsible for homicides and several shootings throughout the country.
Operation Boogeyman.
Which gangs and cases?
I'm not going to give them the honor or space to acknowledge those gangs, but they know.
The chief.
Yeah, I know the gangs. Northside Gangster Crips, 500s, and man, they got the South, like I said, Southside Nightingale, and the EBK boys, Everybody Killers, and it just it goes on and on, and just because I remember they had the Central, Central and Central Stockton used to be the Taliban, and yeah, they had all time. I mean, it's wacky as hell around there. But some of the people who I know, man, I just, I pray for them. I hope everything goes well. I hope that they, learn from some of this shit. And if you're able to escape and make it out of these cases, man, that God, please move out of Stockton. Get out of there. It's over. Ain't nothing there no more. It's dead. It's a dead city.
Also declining to detail the timeline when the operation began, he did say that $65,000, narcotics, 36 handguns, 14 rifles, and 1 shotgun were seized, and then officers made 74 arrests, but would not elaborate on this.
Yeah, and you see all these people up here, they just... Let me say, California, Stockton is very diverse. So you see all these Asians and Mexicans and niggas. See, if you look up here, it's more Asians and Mexicans, but it's a few niggas scattered in between there. And they had the juvenile, he on 16 to 15. They swept their ass up too. So these people be some stone cold killers now, for sure.
Specific charges they face.
Every gun's.
And as you can see on this clip, I know some of these people out here, and it's just, I just hope they move. If they can, they get out of this shit or whatever happens, they leave Stockton. Get the fuck out of Stockton. Ain't nothing there, man. Yeah, and them Asians in California, like them gangs of Filipinos and Laos and Cambodians and Vietnamese, yeah, they some real gangsters. Listen to me. They some real gangsters, and they will knock your shit off. They ain't fucking around there. So, at this point, as you can look at some of the ages, 26, 35, 30, 36, 33, what in the 48? What in the fuck are you niggas doing at that age? It's time to grow the fuck up and get the fuck out of there. All them niggas that you see at them older ages, all them niggas got kids, for sure. For sure they got kids. So it's time to take your family, your girl, and go somewhere and do something else before they give you your funky ass life. Or your ass is doing 25 years at 30. At 36, 30, 35. Who the fuck want to do 20 years at 36?
Seized from the street saves a life. Operation Boogeyman is one of the largest gun violence intervention operations in our county's history, and perhaps the state.
Stockton City Manager echoing that pride.
We are winning. Crime is on the decline in Stockton, and it is not by accident.
Overall crime down by 12% in the first 9 months of 2024, according to city numbers. And for those who don't feel that decline in violence, Chief McFadden making a promise.
Our work will never be done until the victimization stops.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
And prosecutors aren't wasting any time. They say some of the arraignments for the suspects have already started.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, when you get caught with guns, most of these people are felons. So a lot of times when you're a felon, I think it's a mandatory minimum. When you get a good lawyer, maybe you can fight some shit. But when you're a felon, man, that's a tough look. That's a very tough look when they catch your ass with a gun, firearms, ammunition, all that shit. And 9 times out of 10, you got some drugs and some other shit. But, I don't know each individual case, but, that shit all goes hand in hand. Drugs, guns, violence, all the shit. They got everybody social media. These niggas is on social media doing dumb shit, showing money, flashing, and you ain't got no fucking 9 to 5 or nothing. I mean, just a lot of immature shit. That's why I say it's time to grow up and leave. Get the fuck out of there. For the people I know and love, I'm praying for you, love you, but get the fuck out of there. This last clip of the day, I'm going over from my homeboy Jay. We had a conversation the other day. I don't cover a lot of this type of news, sensational news. I pretty much cover world news and news clips that go around the nation. But when it comes to celebrities, I'm kind of iffy on that shit. I might cover it from time to time if I can find, a pertinent reason where I can find a deeper discussion on it. But we talked about, me and my partner Jay, we was talking about tanks, and he was saying, I don't think these tanks is obsolete. And I was telling him, yeah, the tank is almost obsolete. Even over in the Ukraine, the goddamn tanks are being devastated. It's basically a tank graveyard. And the nickname for them tanks are called steel coffins. The reason why the tank is so vulnerable, because number one, is slow and cumbersome. Like, they're very slow. Now, you can make them fast, but then that means they won't have as much armor. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And another thing that hurts the tank is that they're very easily hit by low-tech weapons. RPG, armor-piercing RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades, IEDs, improvised explosive devices, drones that drop some kind of grenade or some type of shit right on top of it. They got 50 cal armor-piercing bullets if the tank is a lighter tank. It's so many things that can hurt tanks from the sky and from the ground that they're becoming slowly obsolete. Now, it does help you move forward, especially if you move it against more of a civilian crowd or a military that's really not that strong. But even at that, it's tough. But I'm gonna take a look at this clip, fair use. I'm just take maybe a minute or two and just kind of show why the tank is becoming obsolete on the battlefield. And as you can see, what he has down on the ground is wires to an IED, an improvised explosive device. And that's something that devastated the Americans in the Iraq War. The Americans, after George Bush landed on an aircraft carrier and said mission accomplished, them IEDs started going off for about a year straight. We couldn't figure out what to do for about a year straight. We had Abrams tanks. We had the best tanks on the planet Earth, and they were killing us with anti-tank shell mines. It's so many ways to hurt a tank. Like, it's just ridiculous. So keep the video going. And as you can see, these are recent videos of the war with Hamas and Israel. And Hezbollah's doing the same thing. Like, these tanks are just, as you can see, it's loud as fuck, it's slow as fuck, and it just can't. Look at all they've blown up so many buildings and created so many hiding spots and so many places to hide IEDs. I don't know how they're even still maneuvering with these tanks at this point. Steel coffins. And as you can see, he's hiding the IED where he thinks the tank is going to be at. So they might have to watch that shit for days. You might have to watch that spot for days till a tank roll by. When a tank roll by, as you can see, he has the IED pointed. It's an anti-tank mine. And it just aimed right at the goddamn tank. Look at all that rubble. And look at all them places to hide for snipers. And look at that shit. He just put that shit in some dirt, some bushes and shit. Look at that shit. That's why America, look, America, they don't want no war with Iran. Iran is 4 times the size of Iraq. I'm going to say that again. Iran is 4 times, you can fit 4 Iraqs in the, Iran is huge. So yeah, you can create a lot of damage, but if you're going to do some regime change and you got to put boots on the ground and you put these people in there, there's going to be, it's a devastating cost. A devastating cost to pay. And as you can see right there, he had a, what you would call a rocket propelled grenade. Armor piercing rocket propelled grenade. And this is a low tech weapon. This weapon is fucking like from the 50s or 60s, maybe even older than that. These things have been used for I think they was using a form of this weapon in World War II. Yeah, obviously they kind of improved on it over the time, but this is like a weapon from the 50s, 60s, 70s type shit. This is old tech. And these tanks can't handle that shit. And that's why I was telling my buddy, hey man, that shit, it's not that it's completely obsolete. I'm saying it's very close to damn near. They're not even usable at this point. They're too big of a target. They're too loud and too slow. And then they have to send the helicopters in to scoop up the bodies or scoop up the maimed and the injured. And, you know, it just slows down everything. Them snipers, it just slows down everything. You don't need no goddamn 2024 sniper rifle with all the greatest equipment. If you got a good scope on that thing and that thing is clean and you know how to use it, hey man, that's just devastating. Just low-tech weapons. Nothing with it. There ain't a bunch of technology from Hamas. Now, Hezbollah, which is in Lebanon, they have a lot more technology. Their technology, that's a more formidable military fighting force in Hezbollah than Hamas. But either way, it's still tough fighting. But, you know, I just wanted to go over that clip with my buddy, you know. Shout out to my partner, Jay. Shout out to everybody who watches, my partner, Alonzo. Shout out to my son, Jabril. Shout out to everybody who watched the video. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass. You can't trust nobody in the gangster game ride. Peace.